Tuesday, it's Shrove Tuesday, which means one thing: pancakes. Now, I've got a great competition for you this week. Sometime during half term, I want you to make a pancake, and the competition is for the most exciting topping. So if you can get your grown-up to take a photo of you or write down what your topping was and send it into my email, which your grown-up should have, and then the best one will get a prize. Now, I'm going to remind you quickly how to make a pancake, just in case you've forgotten. You can buy ready-made sachets, but it's ever so easy to make a pancake. So the first thing you need to do is weigh out 4 ounces or 113 grams of flour. You can double it if you want more. Add an egg. Just chuck it in like that. There we go. And then you want to whisk in, half a pint of milk. So let's give that a whisk. It's going in to make a batter. Now, once you've done your batter, actually it works quite well if you let your batter stand for a little while before you cook it, but I'm not going to do that because I haven't got time. So whisk that round, get all the lumps out of it. Now, if you want to make loads and loads of pancakes, you'll need double the amount of flour, so 8 ounces, and 2 eggs and a whole pint of milk, and you'll get more pancakes out of it. Some people like to add a bit of sugar, which you can, but I don't tend to because I put lots of sugary toppings on. Right, so we have our pancake mix. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. A few bubbles on the top. Empty into here. Now, obviously, get your grown-up to help you with hot pans. You need the frying pan. This is a special pancake pan, this one. Very hot, so I've had this on waiting. And a little bit of oil to stop it sticking. And then you stick your mixture in. Swirl it round. And wait for it to cook. Give that a go. I've got a spatula here. So let's wait for it to cook. So when you think your pancake's cooked, I think that one's on one side, you need to either flip it over the spatula or you can try and toss it in the air. I'm going to try and toss it. Ready? Woo! That was sort of all right. I think it's folded over. Ah, look at that. Hang on a second. Oh, well, you might do it better than that. Mine's folded in half. I'm going to keep it like that. And then you've got to think, once you've cooked the other side of your lovely topping, now I'm going to think of something a bit different. In my pancake, I'm going to use some of this nice Biscoff spread, and I'm going to put some banana in it as well, because I think that will work well. What are you going to come up with? Show me your photos, let me see, and there'll be a prize for the winner. Good morning. Do you like my cosy den? Perhaps this week you could make a den, either like of blankets and tables like I've done, and you could have a picnic in it. Or you could go to the woods and make a den using branches and trees. It's really good fun. So I like being in my den, and it's really cosy. But in today's story, we're going to be talking about a den that wasn't so cosy, and that's because it was full of lions. Not a good thing. And not just lions, but hungry lions. And if lions are really, really hungry, they eat anything. And that includes people. Oh dear. So you've probably guessed we've come to the last part of our looking at Daniel's life, and we're getting to the story that you probably all know about when he got thrown into a lion's den. Now, on your link that you've got on your email, there's a Superbook episode of Daniel's in the Lion's Den, or if you're a bit younger, if you carry on listening after this, there'll be a story that I'm going to read. Now, I wonder how scared Daniel was when he got thrown in the den. I would have been really scared, and sometimes we all feel scared, don't we? And who do you talk to when you're scared? What grown-ups do you go and talk to when you're scared? Well, did you know that you can talk to God too when you're scared? Talking to God is praying, isn't it? And you can tell him all about the things that you're scared of, because he understands and he will look after you and protect you if you ask him. But remember to talk to a grown-up too if you're really, really scared about something. So that's the first thing to learn about the story. The second thing is that Daniel trusted God, and it sometimes is very difficult when you decide to follow Jesus. So Daniel prayed to God 3 times a day, and the law said that he wasn't allowed to pray to God. And Daniel knew that on this occasion, the right thing to do was to carry on praying to God, not worship the king. And that got him into a lot of trouble. But Daniel was very loyal, wasn't he? And he decided that he wasn't going to start praying to kings, even if it was to save himself. He was going to carry on trusting in God. And Daniel had to trust God throughout all his life. And it's really tricky sometimes, so we need to remember that too. it's important to trust God. Now, in this country, when it's not locked down, we can go to church and we can worship together and meet together. But in some countries, people who follow Jesus, Christians, are not allowed because their country doesn't want them to worship God, and it's really tricky for them. And they have to meet in secret in case they get caught. Otherwise, they could get into a lot of trouble. A bit like the story of Daniel today. So I want you to remember those Christians today, because they're all our brothers and sisters, and pray for them. And thank God that they trust in him so much that they keep on worshipping even when they're not allowed to in their country. And so praying for them would be a really good thing. So see if you can sit down with your grown-up and do that this week. Have a lovely half term. Hopefully you should have had a little pack through your door with some ideas of what to do. And I will see you next Sunday. Bye. So this is Daniel in the Lion's Den. And it's been adapted by Alexa Tewkesbury. There's Daniel. People to meet, places to go, rush, rush, list to write and jobs to be done, busy, busy. I work for the king. I work very hard indeed. Phew! The king is pleased with me. I'm pleased with you, Daniel, he says. You're my best helper, so I've decided to give you the best job. The best job. I wonder what that could be. Will I be in charge of the king's palace? Will I be in charge of the king's gardens? No, the best job is to be in charge of the king's whole kingdom. How exciting! What wonderful news! But not everyone is excited. Some people who work for the king are grumpy. They want the best job for themselves. Oh dear, now I'm in trouble. Those workers don't seem to like me very much. The grumpy workers are off to see the king. Your Majesty, they say, let's have a new law. A law that says people must worship only you. The king chuckles. The king claps his hands. Yes, that's a wonderful idea. What terrible news. The grumpy workers know that I worship God. 3 times a day, every day, I worship God. I can't stop. I won't stop. I may work for the king, but I will only worship God. I still pray at my window. The grumpy workers point at me, but I still talk to God. Look, they're running to the king. Still, I don't stop. Your Majesty, Daniel is breaking your new law. He's not worshipping you, he's worshipping God. The king looks very sad. I can't let anyone break my laws, not even my best helper. Daniel must be punished. Throw him into the den where the lions are, he orders. What terrible news. I'm sad too, sad and afraid. Those lions look hungry. Daniel, says the king, you love God so much. I hope he can save you. It's dark in there, dark in the den with the lions. Will God save me? How many lions are there? How many lions' teeth are there? Too many. What terrible news. Daniel. Is that the king? I've been worried all night, Daniel. Has God saved you? I can't stop my mouth from grinning. Yes! I can't stop my mouth from laughing. Yes! God sent an angel to shut the lion's jaws. I'm safe. They couldn't hurt me. The king beams. Get my best helper out of this den, he orders, and get rid of that silly new law. From now on, we will all worship God. God who saved Daniel. Well, what wonderful news!